What is up? What is up? What is going on, everybody? How is everybody today? TGI to the F. Happy Friday. Hope everyone's been having a fantastic morning. Hope you guys are enjoying your day so far. Hopefully you're not working too hard, studying too hard, so on and so forth. But yo, welcome to Kovac's Corner and welcome to a React video. Well, React stream, whatever. You guys asked for it, right? So we are checking out the brutal reality of owning a video game store done by Phoenix Resale. All credit goes to Phoenix Resale for all the information that gets shown throughout the video and whatever. All the work, he did all the work pretty much. We're just reacting to it. These are all his links. Check them out. Check them out. And don't forget to hit him with the subscribe. Speaking of, don't forget, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Feel free, hit me up on any one of my other social medias down in the description below. And if you want to support the channel even further, feel free, hit up the PayPal. Don't feel obligated to. A like and a sub is all I need. Alright, let's get into this. I found this to be pretty interesting. I watched the first 10 minutes of seeing the trajectory of where this video is going. So let's check it out.
They hated me for that. They talk trash. They kick the hornet's nest. They try to start fights. I never stop. I'm 7 days a week. I have a 1-year-old and a 6-year-old. I don't think I'm going to see my daughter walk for the first time. And just being honest with you guys, it hurts.
There are a million reasons, like we talked about before, not to open a video game store.
Yeah.
So, are you crazy?
I kind of like the way how they set it up. It's almost like gloom and doom. You know what I'm saying? The way how they make it seem. Yo, C-Nice, what's going on? Finally, yeah, it's Friday, LOL. Yo, TGI to the F. Yeah, man, the brutal reality of owning a video game store. I've seen about the first 10 minutes of this video just to see the route that it goes down. The way how they open up and start the video makes it seem gloom and doom. It's pretty funny. He's talking about how he has to support his kids and stuff like that. And how he opened the store and all that is actually pretty insane. So check it out.
This is Mark, owner of Dynamo Collectibles. He
What's
opened
up,
a
Mark?
video game store in Fort Myers last year when everyone was telling him it was a terrible idea. But despite the decline
64s,
of
man.
retail and collectible
OG
prices, an
64s.
unstable economy, and the uncertain future of physical media, he still managed to build one of the most successful video game stores in the area. And today,
Successful.
I want to find out how. Mark, thank you so much for having
All that gloom and doom, forget that, man. Mamma Jam is out here successful.
me, man. You know, we're very money positive on this channel. And so in that spirit, how much money are you making?
This year, between card and cash, $250,000.
$250,000.
Wow. And how much of that total is profit, would you say?
About $75,000.
So out of $250,000, he's making $75K. That's insane. That's crazy.
So not only are you doing in this space really solid revenue, but also solid actual profit after everything.
Absolutely.
Really excited to get the store tour as we're starting that off. Can you give me
See that? Hold on.
anything?
Absolutely.
Really excited to get the store
That's a PS4. He's running a PS4 out here. 2024, running the PS4.
tour
Still
as
smart.
we're starting that off. Can you give me your origin story of flipping video games? Because it's one
Old
of the
school
most fascinating
NES.
ones I've ever heard.
That's insane.
So let's go. Basically, during COVID, the beginning, needed a way to help sustain my family,
As many of us did.
and also collect video games. So I have a really big social media following, and I decided to monetize it. I made
So he started on social media, got a big following, and then decided to monetize it. That's pretty crazy, man. You can check him out over on Instagram for sure.
a post saying, I'm going to buy video games. And I ended up getting like 10, 20 messages. It was crazy. So I bought everything. Just put all my money on the line, bought everything.
Yeah. And what platform was this on, and what was
Twitter.
your content about?
Twitter, and
So my question is, what was his startup capital? Like, how much money did he have to blow through in order to purchase whatever? Because he did start off by collecting, trading, selling Magic the Gathering cards, right? And some of those cards catch a hefty price tag. So, like, maybe he ended up just funding it straight from his Magic the Gathering collection. It's pretty cool.
my content was about Magic the Gathering and how much I hated my serving job that I served for 10 years. So it was kind of like a dual action
Sure.
type of account.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of people in from different backgrounds. So that means a lot of people that play video games. During COVID,
Bro, like GameCubes, 64s, Super NES. What is that? Is that Nintendo Entertainment? Ah man, I forget what it's called. It's almost like a NES, but it's like an upgrade from the NES that you're able to have that actually had online capabilities in Japan.
a lot of people need money. And a lot of
Xboxes,
people were in that position
PlayStations.
where they needed to stretch every dollar that they had.
Yeah.
So that meant them selling to me, and I collected all the stuff that I always wanted.
Paperboy.
And that means lots of cool games that I never had. Earthbound, Chrono Trigger, like just the coolest Super Nintendo games.
Yeah.
By the way, this is the 3DS section, Vita section, some cool stuff, PS3, PS4 bangers.
Yeah, pretty
Wii U.
eclectic mix in here. You got
Super
Switch.
Smash.
Yeah, lots of the really cool games. One of my favorites, Sunset Riders on the Genesis. I know, I'm just really proud. Sorry. So what happened was, I decided to sell all the excess games that I had. There were a lot of doubles, a lot of triples, a lot of Super Mario.
Yo, I wanted that one. I wanted that one so bad. Back in the day, I wanted that so bad. Yo, what the fuck is that? Is that Sega Saturn in the back? In the back? Kind of looks like it. It's Genesis games, magazines and stuff.
Mario World.
The stuff that you weren't collecting.
Super
Exactly.
Mario 3.
So I put it all on eBay without knowing how much.
Contra
game
was up
prices
there.
would buy.
Nice.
I looked at my first eBay sale and I thought to myself, I can't do this.
Pardon
So
me.
I decided to make another
Batman.
post. Hey, I'm buying video games. 10 messages, 15 messages, 20 messages. I ended up getting probably around 40 messages in my first week of doing it.
Sourcing on Twitter.
On Twitter,
by the way.
This is just Twitter. This
I've
is not
never-
Facebook.
Yeah.
This is not Instagram. This is not locally. This is strictly Twitter. All those spikes in games made me realize, yeah, there's something to this. So I bought more and more.
Damn. New NES, it don't cut off or blink while playing. Nice. Is it like, yo, it's like tiny, right? It's like a small Nintendo NES.
More and more until my house.
Bro, look at this. Look at this dude. Look at this dude. He's probably in the Guinness Book for like one of the biggest collections. Obviously. That is crazy. Look at the game setup. Like that doesn't even look real. This looks like it's a poster. You know what I'm saying? Like holy shit. Imagine that. Holy.
Like a hoarder's nightmare. And my wife got to the point where she was like, Mark, you gotta do something.
That was even his carpet. Hold on.
I ended up getting probably around 40 messages in my first week of doing it.
Sourcing
Goddamn.
on Twitter.
On Twitter.
By the way.
This is just Twitter. This
I've
is not
never-
Facebook.
Yeah.
This is not Instagram. This is not locally.
Cartridge
This
bay is
strictly
better.
Twitter. All those
Nice.
spikes in games. made
Yeah,
me
I
realize,
believe
yeah,
it.
there's something to
I had a
this.
friend of mine who
So I bought more and more.
it's not this carpet.
More
So
and
many
more until My house
TVs.
looked like a hoarder's nightmare.
That, bam. Is that a carpet or is that just laid out? That's all just laid out. Holy fuck. All the mini arcade machines? That's nuts. You thinking that these are books? These ain't books, these is games. Holy.
And my wife got to the point where she was like, Mark, you gotta do something about it.
Yeah, I'd love to
My
get
living room
one of the
was
new
filled.
NESs.
My garage was filled with games. My
Like the
office was
classic.
filled with games.
I want to play
She
Super
was
Mario
going
3.
realistic. There were a lot of lonely nights on the couch because she was just like,
So in Super Mario 3, hold on, where is it? You can see it right here. It's right here. But in Super Mario 3, so like people think that there's only 2 flutes. There's 3 flutes that you could get in that game.
if you don't get this stuff cleared out, I'm gonna go crazy.
The home business was taken over.
It was absolutely insane. It was 7 days
Games
a week,
all day, just
70-hour
drizzled,
work
you know what
weeks,
I'm saying?
Listing, taking pictures, shipping. This is my N64 section.
Which, by the way, very
Spider-Man,
commendable N64.
Donkey
Thank
Kong
you. I see
64,
Very few game stores that have
NBA,
had the
NBA.
N64.
This is one of my babies.
He had
I have a couple
Killer
babies.
Instinct,
Yeah,
the
before
black
we get
cartridge,
too far into it, like, how do you stay stocked with these?
I buy for more. than I sell
Stadium,
for less.
Snap,
It sounds like a terrible business model.
Pokemon down in
but
the bottom
I operate
corner.
on velocity over margins. I think if you're willing to buy a game for $30 and sell it for 45, you're going to make more money in the long run than if you buy that game for $20 and try to wait 8 months to sell it for $50 or $60.
Bruh.
It's just marking things up way
I
too
love
much.
that. One thing we always say on this.
Yo, what is this? I have like an idea of what it is, but I'm not sure. I think that was like one of the first like wannabe computer systems that came out like end of the 90s, early 2000s. I forget, man. It looks familiar. I'm trying to think about what the name is.
This channel is buy low, sell fast, so we'll get deeper into that
Definitely.
later. But sorry, I interrupted your story.
We're both terrible.
You're in heavy home business mode.
Heavy
It's
home
becoming
business.
too much.
It's
Then what
becoming way
happens?
too much. So next logical step, flea market. Why the heck not? So we go to the flea market, we start bringing all of my inventory, which my wife loves, and we start selling. All of a sudden, we're doing like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 weekends on just a flea market. 2 little booths.
Oh my god.
It was insane. So we started doing killer business in the
Yeah.
flea market. I start to think to myself, maybe it's time to start a store.
Wow.
And that's how it happened.
How
Yo,
long
that's
ago now
crazy.
have you had a store?
That is crazy. Started with online, doing trades online, friggin' eBay and all that and whatever. Busted a move on eBay, and then like it's not enough. Ends up getting in the flea market and stuff. That with 2 booths, making like anywhere between 4 to like 6-7K every weekend. Holy, you know, a good majority of that had to get reinvested. So it's like you probably took 5K of that, reinvested it, kept the 2, and then it's like an extra 2K per month kind of thing. That's pretty cool, man. That's smart. It's a very tactful, whatever.
It's been about a year and 6 months.
Okay.
And it's grown from a tiny, nothing on the walls.
Yo, look how it used to look. Even back in the day, though, you had 2, 4, 6, 8. You had a bunch of 64s. 64s sell. Like, everybody wants to live that nostalgia. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to buy a 64. I have a 64, but it doesn't work. I could probably get it fixed, but whatever.
Maybe 5 racks, maybe 2. I think it was like 2 showcases. We were just a baby.
Uh-huh.
And it went from this tiny little
VHSs.
passion project to a monster in about a year.
Crazy. We'll definitely have to ask you what.
No, those are NES games. Back in the day, they used to come in like VHS cases. Kind of like the way how the discs come through, you know what I'm saying?
Principles you implement.
Yo, Epic
to grow
Legend,
so
what's
fast,
going on,
but
homie?
Looks like we're getting into the
N64.
Pokemon section of the store.
Yes, this is
Yo,
actually
facts.
something we started a year ago. We decided to pivot into Pokemon because I got like so many calls a week about.
So from like doing a bunch of video game shit into pivoting into Pokemon, right?
Principles you implemented to grow so fast.
Look,
but
there's the
looks
game that
like
you're playing right now, Epic Legend Quest. Super Mario. It's the game you're playing right now.
We're getting into the Pokemon section of the store.
Yes, this is actually something we started a year ago. We decided to pivot into Pokemon because I got like so many calls a week about, do you buy Pokemon? Do you sell Pokemon? And I always said no, I always said no, I always said no. Didn't want anything to do with it because it's a fickle market.
Sure.
That's the tough part about it. But what's not fickle is sealed. And one day a guy just
Sealed
came in,
product.
Uh-huh.
See
I
it
didn't
all
know
in the
anything about
background.
it, but I decided, what the heck. I looked, I saw like Charizard, the Blastoises from base set.
Wish you
I
still
knew
had
that.
GameCube.
So I made the guy an
GameCube
offer,
was
and
sick.
apparently it was better than the other place that he went to. So he sold it to me happily.
Wow.
We had no
I had a
idea
ga-
what we were doing.
I had a GameCube back in the day. So like when I used to live at a questionable area, whatever, all the homies, we'd have a GameCube hooked up to this big ass TV and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's all we played was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That was the only game we had. That shit was crazy.
We were putting out $1, $2 cards in the only small case that we had.
Okay.
That whole case sold in the first week.
Wow.
Guitar Hero
so it
2.
was pretty crazy. Again,
You got the Japanese Pokemon cards in the back too. He had Loricana at the beginning. We seen a bunch of sealed product. Is that Pokemon Go? Pokemon Go kind of fell off. It went down in price. The sealed collector shit.
I said this before, this is the theme. We realized there was something there.
Yeah.
We started
Needle
buying
key?
Pokemon cards, started posting about how we were buying Pokemon cards, started posting about how we were buying Pokemon sealed product, made some friends in the area, made some connections with some local Pokemon resellers, and we blossomed into this incredible place to go get Pokemon
Bro, the
singles,
prices.
to get packs.
Look at these prices.
To get ETBs and ultra premium collections, all sorts of
My
Pokemon products.
God.
Yeah, it seems like a big trend in your business has been
Okay, $12
trying
packs,
things
but
and
those
then
are, like,
doubling down
older.
on what works.
Yes.
I'm excited to get
Friggin' yo, the Pikachu Tamagotchi. Who remembers the Pikachu Tamagotchi back in the day? You want to play Wind Waker Twilight Princess? Yo, do it. Get it, bro. Get it. But yo, who remembers when that came? I remember when that came out. I remember the commercial and everything. It was a Toys R Us commercial that they came out with this. That was crazy.
more into like kind of the tactical side. Let's finish up this tour, and then I'll start pelting you with the business questions.
I can't wait. This is the PS1 and PS2 section. We put all the heaters in the cases.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
This is my proudest achievement that we have, and the worst part is it was like
Pokemon
twice
Stadium
built before Christmas.
Wow.
Or maybe the best part, for me at least. The best
No
part.
kidding. Yeah, best part for the bank account.
This is my GameCube collection, and this isn't even all of it.
I almost never like this is
Zelda.
just so unprecedented for game stores. I just have to commend you because like a lot of like the game exchanges I'll go into will have like loose sports games and like maybe one or two
Sonic,
decent
Resident
titles.
Evil,
Yeah.
all the
And-
Resident Evils. Yo, what?
The game exchanges I'll go into will have like loose sports games and like maybe one.
Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil. I wonder if that's the OG one. You got the other Resident Evil. Nice. Pikmin. Nice.
One or two decent titles.
Metroid.
And you've got looks like 100.
It's pretty excessive. Is about the only word I could use to describe it. And this isn't even all of it.
Wow.
We have all the games that are 30 and under on our shelves. So there's about another 100
like
of those.
out. So
Exactly.
everything on
30
the
and
floor
under, that's
right now
actually a
out
good
and about
strategy.
is all 30
It's not.
and under.
It's
30
not
and
too.
under, yeah. So we
Because it's not too. It's not too expensive. Where he has a pretty high turnover rate with games, so it's like he might be selling at a loss, but he's selling in bulk, so it'll end up generating and adding up over time. I get it.
put an emphasis on quality as well as making sure that we're putting out games that people are going to want instead of putting out games like sport games.
Yo,
Yeah, it seems like this
Blockbuster.
is the kind of store that, even though it's smaller, would be really fun to come like hunting because they're
Yes.
just you're utilizing the space so well and you've got
Exactly.
so much stock.
Yeah, that's our big philosophy here is that if we can make an experience for people where they can come in and find games that they're going to love,
Yeah.
then we're really, really doing the right thing by our customers.
So, Mark, talk to me about now that you've owned a game store for, you said, a year and a half or
Mhm.
so. This is a career that a lot of people really romanticize.
Yes.
What's the reality of owning a game store, and how does that not match up with maybe what your expectations were or what other people's expectations were?
It's not as fun as people act like it is. You watch a lot of channels where people are like, this is my dream job, this is what I've always
Comics,
wanted, this is
nice.
the coolest thing you could possibly do.
Punch
for a
Out.
video game
Nice,
stuff.
nice.
If you're taking it seriously,
Those are still the
it
NES
is not
games. Wow.
the most fun job. It's very rewarding. It's very interesting. It's always changing. But I think a common misconception is this is like a secret clubhouse, you know? All your friends can come hang out at it. Everybody plays video games 24/7. We're always having fun and smiling and laughing in here. It's not the truth. The truth is that if you're going to be successful at a business, you have to take it very, very seriously.
Facts.
And I know a lot of people that just don't. And their stores last for maybe a year or two, the lease is up, and they're gone. You have to treat it like the animal that it is, which is very, very delicate, but at the same time, one that requires a lot of attention. And if you don't do that, you're not going to be successful. It's just
Yo, that was sick. Was that Optimus?
very seriously. And I know a lot of people that just don't. And their stores last for maybe a year or two, the lease is up, and they're gone. You have to
So, yo, that's actually the harsh reality. You know what I'm saying? Where, like, people are, like, buddy about certain situations or whatever. Which is, like, that's cool and stuff, but you have to treat a business like a business. That's where a lot of people end up falling off whenever it comes to these kind of stores, TCG stores included, right?
treat it like the animal that it is, which is very, very delicate, but at the same time, one that requires a lot of attention.
Optimus, yeah, man.
And if you don't do that, you're
Friggin' Optimus Prime. Yo, there used to be, what is it? A VHS recorder that used to transform into Optimus Prime. There was a cassette tape recorder of Optimus Prime too, where it would rewind your tapes.
You're not going to be successful. It's just not as fun as people make it out to be.
Yeah. What is something that you would say you do better in this store than most people do in the field?
Customer service by a wide margin.
Okay.
And that's not me being egotistical.
Sega.
I come from
Nice.
a hospitality background. I worked in restaurants for over 20 years. This is my server voice. Yeah. So if you guys ever need anything, let me know.
And that was actually partly what your Twitter was about, you said.
Yes.
Is your serving background.
Must
How
be
does
hard
that
to compete with
translate?
GameStop. Yo, facts.
So I think that customer service is what is severely lacking in this business. I don't think that people take it seriously enough. I think that if you're going to have people come into your store,
Yo, the thing about GameStop is they own their own stocks, which like they're not owned by a giant corporation. They're just their own entity on the stock exchange. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you never know, maybe this year during Christmas it might go back up, man. Diamond hands.
one of the things that we do in the restaurant business, and I was a trainer, I used to open up restaurants. One of the things that we do.
Yo, know what's really funny too is how he's like relaying everything to a restaurant, right? It sucks because I do that. I like relate everything to like I've had to do in a restaurant, and I compare the two. Even when it comes to like construction and stuff like that, I always compare the two.
Is we don't take orders, we create memories.
Facts.
And I think that that's something that is severely lacking in this business, and that I try to do different than other things. I'm friendly with the customers. I talk to them.
Yeah.
I recommend games to them if they're looking at the systems that I'm familiar
It's
with. I try to
literally
create
blow
a
GameStop
nostalgic
away.
bubble for them to live in
GameStop
for the next
is
20
good,
minutes
but
while
man,
they're in my store.
old school
So
systems.
they can really
Yeah,
get that
facts.
throwback of like a Blockbuster or the game store.
It is
like
Blockbuster.
in
Seen
the
that.
early 2000s. I want them to have this experience that they're A, going to remember, but B, tell their friends about.
You said something really interesting when we were speaking before this, that you don't sell games, you sell nostalgia.
Yes.
So what's the difference?
Games you play, nostalgia you live. You remember. You're 10 years old again, sitting on your bed. It's summer outside. It's beautiful. School's out. You don't have responsibility. You don't have bills. Mom's making dinner. Everything is peaceful. And when you play those old games, when you play your Super Mario Worlds or your Super Punch-Outs or your Sunset Riders, you're living what you used to feel.
At this
That's
point,
so crazy.
you
It's
have
facts.
Bought
It's so
and
facts.
sold on Twitter,
Yes.
at flea markets, and now in a game store.
Yes.
Talk to me about like that transition and what the differences are. Like if there are people watching at home and are asking, what model should I get into? What would you say?
Social media, I wouldn't recommend getting into. It's very niche. You have to have a big following to do it. And you have to have a certain personality temperament to deal with it. You have to deal with a lot of negativity. You have to deal with a lot of people kind of making fun of what you're doing. It's like a Reddit that never stops. It's a 24-hour thread. So with
Jeez.
social media, it's its own monster, and I do emphasize the word monster. Selling at the flea market, a little bit different, because a lot of those booths that you go to at flea markets, they're selling at over eBay prices. They're selling at over price charting prices, which is where they get a lot of their prices from. They are not creating the flea market experience. People
Nah,
wanna
that's
go in there
greed,
and find
man.
a deal. They
People
want you to
being
wheel and deal
greedy.
with them. They want to find that you have a $25 game for $20 and see if you'll sell for 18.
Yeah.
Sure, why not? Let's do it. Let's make some money together. Let's have a flea market experience. It sounds silly, but that's what you go to them for. You go there for the yard sale experience. So that was sort of the feeling that we tried to create when people went to flea markets.
Before we started rolling, you briefly talked about a little bit of flea market beef that you had before coming here. Is
Yo,
that something you
beef
can
in the
talk about?
market.
Sure. The other flea market stores hated me. I priced things not to undercut them, but just because I thought that's what.
Know what's funny? As he was doing the whole tour through his store and showing off his sections, I even said, like, look at these prices. It's like mad low prices, man. Like crazy low. It's like at par with what you would see. What is it? Like after something's been out for a while, you know what I'm saying? It's pretty
What the
sad.
prices were for games.
Yeah.
I didn't go to their stores and say, Oh, they're selling
Jurassic
Super
Park,
Mario
I
World
remember
for
that
30.
game.
I should sell it
X-Men,
for 27. Ha ha ha.
Combat,
So
Mortal Kombat.
I just went and looked and saw what they were going for, and I took a few bucks off because
I'd buy
I figured
that.
that would give the
100%.
person coming to your booth.
What would you guys buy that for? The friggin' Sega Genesis with all those games that it had. What games was it? Well, let's take a look.
Flea market stores hated me. I priced things not to undercut them, but just because I thought that's what the prices were for games.
Yeah.
I didn't go to their stores and say,
So, what was it? NBA Jam,
"Oh, they're
great
selling
game,
Super Mario
10-bit,
World for 30.
Jurassic Park,
I should sell it for 27."
Mortal Kombat, and what was the other game?
Took a few bucks off because I figured that would give
Whatever,
the
man. What would
person
you
coming
spend
to
on
your
that?
booth something fun to find.
Yeah.
It's not the typical eBay price game, over eBay price game. You're really getting
nice,
a good deal
Mario.
when you shop at me at a flea market.
Mhm.
They hated me for that. They talk trash. They kick the hornet's nest. They try to start fights. And this
I think
isn't my
I'd pay
personal
like
business. I'm talking about people that would
$130
literally come up to my booth and
at
just
most.
make fun of
I'd
what I
try
was
to get it
selling
for like
things
50,
because they
40.
viewed me as
Try to get it for
competition, but
40.
unfair competition,
130
because I was
would be
giving
the
people
highest.
prices
Yo.
that were real
Yeah.
and not
Oh, damn.
made up or not $30 over the typical price of the game.
So how did that ever?
I wonder
get
how much
resolved?
that lot
No,
cost.
I moved away. I started a store. I always had that end game in the back of my head that I'm not going to be here forever, but you might. So you need to have these interactions with me because they make you feel better. But me, I don't need to worry about them because in a few
All right,
months
man.
I'm going to be in my own place.
Wow.
So that
That's
was
powerful.
that was how you get over. You rise, John Cena. You rise above hate, and I think that that's really, really important when you're in that position where people genuinely don't like you for reasons they don't even understand.
Cue
One
the
of the most
music.
powerful axioms I've learned that's helped me, especially on my social media journey, as you were mentioning earlier, that can be kind of toxic, is nobody hates you who's ahead of you. I can't think of
Exactly.
a single time that someone I look up to in business who's doing things that I want to do has discouraged me along my path of trying to get better. They're almost
Exactly.
always in your corner. The people who hate are the ones who are envious, right, and insecure.
Yeah, it's funny
Facts.
enough. It's like that saying, like they hate us because they ain't us.
Yo, what a guy. What a guy. Hate us because he ain't us. What a guy.
You get a lot of people that say like, "Oh, you're making the hobby too difficult to get into. Oh, you're taking all the deals. Oh, you're taking all the games." When the truth is, people like us, we're
putting in
not
the
going
work,
to yard
man.
sales. We're not going to community sales. We're not going to flea markets. We're leaving those for you. Go have fun. Go to a garage sale. Find your $5 Earthbound. Be as happy as a clam. I don't care. I cheer for these people.
Yeah.
When they have successes and they post on Facebook, look, I had a guy last night. I found a copy of Alien Resurrection on the PS1 for
Nice.
$33. Boom.
Right.
Go get him, Tiger.
All right, so folks, an
That's
absolutely
dope.
mouth-watering handheld selection here at Dynamo.
Yeah, man. Yo, I used to have this Game Boy. My brother had this Game Boy. Yeah. And I also had one of these. Yo. That's so classic. Look at this.
Collectibles.
I had this one. And that's where I used to play Pokemon Green.
Before we get to this, because I think I am going to have the chance to get to buy a few of these, I wanted to ask you, like, there are a million
He did the money sign. Yo, cough up them ducats, homie.
reasons
What?
like we talked about
What
before
a guy.
not to open a video game store.
Yeah.
So, are you crazy?
Oh, I'm
Like,
not.
why did you decide to do this?
Oh, I'm bananas. A lot of it is just passion. I wanted to continue doing customer service because it sounds silly, but like I genuinely feel like everybody's here for like kind of like a reason, and I feel like that's kind of like my reason.
Wow.
Is I just really, really enjoy it. I like helping people and having fun with people.
Yeah.
So yes, I am crazy. It is a very, very difficult business to A, get acclimated to, but B, be successful at.
Yeah.
So it is not for the faint of heart. So yes, crazy would be a great way to describe it.
So, for people watching, if they're
Yo, I like his shirt. I like that shit. You know what I'm saying? He looks like he's like enjoying himself. Enjoying his store and stuff, you know? That's pretty cool. I like that shirt though. Like big facts.
thinking, maybe I want to get into a game
Samus.
store. How,
Nice.
first of all, do they know whether it's right for them, and what are the biggest concerns? What are the biggest things to watch out for? The biggest pitfalls that people might experience?
The,
He loves
probably the
shops like
biggest
this.
pitfall that people
Crazy
might
cool. I hope he
experience
expands. Yo,
is
facts.
not starting with enough money. It is very expensive.
The startup
to start
capital.
This business.
See?
And I'll be just transparent with you guys. I started with about $25,000, and it was a horrible mistake.
Wow.
I thought, easiest day of my life. I could buy this, I could buy this, I could buy this. I'll have money left over for inventory. You don't. To get everything set up, to get A-tracks, showcases, slat wall, everything, you're talking thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So a big pitfall that I see, and I fell into, is that if you're not going into this with a good bit of money, you're going to fail right off the bat.
Wow.
Yo, that's facts. And, like, you could even relate that to kitchens, right? Because, like, yo, if you start a new kitchen, you're already $1 million in the red. And then you have to make sure that it survives. So for that first year, you got to try and break out, like, not all the way out the red, but you got to try and, like, get out, like, the one spot that I used to work at, it was brand new and all this and whatever, so that's $1 million already. And we cleared over $1 million in sales before the year was done, which is crazy. So it, like, paid off a good portion of that restaurant, which was dope. And then, like, the year after was actually pretty dope too, because it's like we ended up almost doubling what we did in sales. So the restaurant was paid off. Everything was, like, just working and shit, which was dope. But the way how you have to look at things is, like, you're already in the hole because you purchased this, and then on top of setting everything else up, you're in more debt. So it's like, bruh, I feel you. It has to succeed within the first year. Sometimes you'll get spots that'll last 3 years, end up, like, riding out on a loan that they'd be able to, or, like, jumping from credit card to credit card for the mortgage payments. But man, you need good startup capital, and you have to have a solid product and a good relationship with the people that you're trying to sell to.
So talk to me about some of the most expensive parts
That's
of
crazy.
building.
The slat wall actually costs a ton per 8 feet. And you have to get about 16 feet, for me at least, per wall.
Slat wall is building material used in shop fitting and interior design for wall coverings, display fixtures. Is made using a wide range of different materials depending on the use and cost. In the past, slat wall was only known as a shop fitting product, usually 4 by 8 feet.
So we had to get
I wonder what the
3
cost
walls
is.
worth of 16 feet of slat wall. Showcases can range anywhere from about $400 to $800.
Damn.
And I'm not embarrassed to say it. When we first opened, I was using Facebook Marketplace to buy showcases.
Oh yeah.
For
so
sure.
I had like a hodgepodge. I had like a mishmash of showcases because I didn't have the money
Right.
to purchase all matching beautiful showcases.
That's such a wild departure from the world that I'm used to. The biggest luxury that resellers have, online resellers, especially if you're sourcing at yard sales and thrift stores to start out, is like
EV trades.
there really aren't startup costs.
EV trades and
what
buys
is there,
from
like
people
shipping supplies?
that'll keep the inventory
maybe
up.
a label
Yeah,
printer if you want
facts.
to get fancy, but you
And
don't
that's
need
another
it.
thing too. So, like, whenever people end up getting into this kind of position, you already know that they have, like, either a Facebook Marketplace, as he's talking about. He used it, so you know that he has that. He probably has an eBay. He's probably doing, like, drop shipping for products for his shop over on Amazon. So he probably has a couple different revenue streams in order to help his business, like, succeeding, because you already know it's a hit and miss. Not only that, but he's probably selling, like, really vintage, really rare kind of collectibles that people are looking for. Sure, you get the regular people that come in, grab whatever kind of Pokemon cards and stuff, like your usuals, and then you get, like, your usual big spenders that'll come in, your whales, as they put it, come through, and they'll be like, I'm looking for this product. I know that you're the guy that deals with this and whatever. So he probably makes a little bit of a commission in between, a little bit off the top. Know what I'm saying? Being a middleman.
You can buy, like,
You have to have other sources of revenue to keep it
Yep.
going.
You started with $25K for this, and things were still tight.
Very tight. And that is definitely a pitfall. All of the setup that you're doing, that's going to drain your bank account. TV monitors, computers, points of sale, it all adds up.
Yeah,
Talk
it
to me
does.
about some of the other objections that people might have. Like, is retail dying? Are collectibles prices going down? Interest rates are up. The economy's unstable. Do those factor into your mind at all?
No. As silly as it sounds, this is almost a recession-proof business. When the economy is down, people want escapism.
Yeah.
They want ways
Pokemon
to not
yellow,
have
gold,
to
red,
feel
blue,
bad about themselves. They
crystal,
want to get lost in a video game
nice,
for 12 to 14
green.
hours. That is what they're paying for.
NES
Whether
games.
they're charging it, and I know this sounds
Double
terrible, like
Dragon.
I'm like egging people on to spend money when the economy's down. But the truth is
Had
that's
that
what they
game.
do. It is how it is. We had a hurricane decimate our area, and I opened with no power, and it was one of my busiest weeks ever. I did a 25% off sale on handhelds that were all charged. I sold out all of my handhelds because people just want that escapism. When the economy's up, people want entertainment.
So one of the biggest things that we really
Numbers,
see eye to eye
yo,
on
facts.
is pricing strategy.
Yep.
This is a big differentiator between you and a lot of other businesses out there. Talk to me about, one, what is this thing up on the monitor, and how does that relate to your overall business philosophy?
So this is a hot list of systems that we are not so much in need of, but that we want to have a really high stock of because they sell super duper well. So some things like,
So hold on.
this is a hot list. Escapism.
I want
When the
to see
economy's up,
this.
People want entertainment.
So one of the biggest things that we really see eye to eye on is pricing strategy.
So
This
his
is a big
pricing
differentiator
strategy.
between you and a lot of other businesses out there.
Bam. Right there. What do you got? For any system, 75% for a trade. So he's doing 75% trades. All Pokemon games are 80% trades. That's actually a pretty smart. That's pretty smart. He's treating people proper with that. And then Nintendo games for cash. NES top loader, $100. Trade 130, so you end up getting a little bit big. Yeah, because he has a shop, right? He has to get that, like, usually it's like 35% if you're if they're buying. SNES system launch $65, trade $80, 90, 110, nice. What is this? PlayStation 5 disc $290, trade in $330, nice, because it's like $500, right? That's not too bad. It's not, but like they're buying it for $290, so just under $300, so it's like knock off $210, right? And I bet you he probably haggles a little bit about that $10, right? And then PlayStation 5 digital. Oh wait, yo, never mind. My bad. 240 and then 280, $40 difference makes sense, right? Series X 180, 260, that's a big margin. It's like $80 difference there, $40 difference here. It's like a $60 difference here, $20 difference here. That's not too bad. He has a pretty good scale.
Talk to me about, one, what is this thing up on the monitor, and how
He's
does that
talking
relate
about
to
the
your overall business
percentages
philosophy?
So this
down
is a
at the
hot
bottom.
list
That's
of
pretty slick,
systems
man.
that
That's
we
smart.
are
There's the numbers.
Not so much in need of, but that we want to have a really high stock of because they sell super duper well. So some things like AAA GameCube titles, Pokemon games, random systems, handhelds, all of that we want to have in store because it sells really, really well.
Yeah.
So one of our philosophies is with systems, especially the newer ones, beat GameStop. Make sure you are defeating them in their trade. Make sure you are defeating them in
That's still
their
real nice. This
buy
guy's
cost.
doing the
Make sure
damn
you're defeating
thing.
them for their
Yo,
pro.
facts, big facts.
Because for 15 or
That's
whatever
smart
it is, $20
marketing.
nowadays,
On top,
you
he
can become a
started.
pro member, and you can
He started on social media, so he already had a platform to like propel what he was doing. That's smart, man. That's slick.
get a pretty nice chunk.
So you know he's
for
making like a
for
chunk
trade-in
from
for buying.
social media
so
too.
Our goal is to buy for more than they do.
Yeah.
Pokemon
That's step
Stadium
one.
2,
If they can come to
Pokemon
you and
Snap.
sell like an OLED Switch for $140 or get 175 credit, well, GameStop is buying OLED Switches for $88.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now we're buying it for $12 more. Might not sound like a lot, but it is, especially when you're getting that much more credit as well. That is philosophy number one.
Yeah, it's
Beat
huge.
Your competitors like GameStop. You don't want to, browbeat your opponents that are in the same business as you, but you want to beat the juggernaut. That's the big one.
Totally.
You also want to stock very, very popular games. Pokemon, as you know, is a blue chip stock. It goes infinitely fast. The prices are always the same, or they go up. They never ever really go down. I saw a small decline in Pokemon games after the end of COVID, but that's it. So we want to make sure that we're stocking all sorts of things. Nintendo handhelds, for example, those super fast movers. They are just absolute beasts. You can't
$90.
sell enough
It's
handhelds.
not
You
bad.
can't stock enough.
$35.
So this is the list of games that you want people to know when they come into the store. We pay really well for these.
Yes.
and you're willing to do that and take a tighter margin
Exactly.
just to have the stuff in store.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know anyone that's going to be buying a Sony PlayStation 2 for $65 or giving 80% trade credit on it.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that does that. We price them really aggressively as well. Our margins on them are a lot slimmer because we want to operate on that velocity and liquidity. We want to make sure that that $60 that we spend, that PlayStation 2 sells immediately. Now that $60 is freed up again, and there's profit margin that we can sink into other things.
That's
So,
smart.
for someone who would
Because
say,
he's
"Wait a
rolling
second,
the business
why
back
would you
into
sell a
itself."
PS2 for 80
Nice. It's
when
almost
you
like
could
a
just
friggin'
wait a little
business
bit
lesson
longer
right
and
here.
Probably sell it for 100.
I just think that the philosophy on it needs to be more consumer friendly. A lot of stores fail because selling games and owning games becomes like a personality to them. It becomes something that they are attached to. So they'll sell that copy of Earthbound for $500. We know it's like a $270 to $300 game, but they're going to sell it for a huge amount of money because they think it's cool. They think it's eye candy. They think it's fetching. People want to come in and see it. I don't have that same philosophy. I'm not attached to anything in the store. I love certain games.
He's
in the
trying to
store,
grip
but
and
if my
rip.
favorite game
That's so
walks through the
smart.
door, I would sell it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like, well, Jade Cocoon 2, great game, you should buy it. Market tip. One of my favorite games of all time. I have posters of Jade Cocoon and Jade Cocoon 2 in this place. But if it walked through the door, I'd be the first person to be like, oh, you like PlayStation RPGs? Boom. This is one of the GOATs. This is one of the best, most fun ones. I
Smart.
want to share that experience with other people. I don't want to just hoard it.
One other thing that you do that is just weird that we talked about before
Mhm.
is paying way up on certain individual games.
So like how he ends up translating that to the customer, that was intelligent, man. That's super smart. So he's like, yo, as long as you don't have like a possession issue where it's like, I want this, I need this, it's my favorite thing, whatever. You have to have like a detachment from what it is because you're in the business to make money, right? Not like overcharge everybody so that you just have a niche bunch of people come through. You're able to sell it at cost, kinda at a little bit of a markup due to the rarity of the game.
You
And it's
PlayStation
like, I got
RPGs?
X amount,
Boom.
so
This
it's
is
like,
one of the GOATs.
yeah,
This
smart,
is one of
man.
the best, most fun ones.
That's the flip
I want to
rate.
share that experience
Nice.
with other people. I don't want to just hoard it.
One other thing that you do that is just weird that we talked about before
Mhm.
is paying way up on certain individual games.
Yes.
Maybe even at or above slightly market rate. What the heck is up with that?
So one of the luxuries
Just
you
to
do
have
get
it.
is you do get that little bit of markup because you're a store and you're providing people with all sorts of really, really good items. So what I'll do is like a copy of Pokemon Emerald's going to walk through the door. Dry battery. I would buy it for $160. I'm going to sell it for maybe $200 or $210 after
yeah.
replacing that battery.
Right.
But doing so means that that customer is going to tell their friends, hey, this guy buys games for a lot. If you're buying
Yeah.
things at very, very competitive prices,
Word of mouth.
you're doing right by the customer, you're getting word of mouth, you're getting goodwill towards that customer for when
Yeah.
they want to get rid of more stuff.
Straight goodwill.
And it's just cyclical. It's a circle of life. It's do things correctly, get those items,
Yeet.
sell those items,
Eat
do
it,
things
Simba.
correctly. It's a never-ending circle where you can keep making tons of money, but at the same time, you can give the customer
You have to
a fair
treat
deal.
people right,
You
man.
mentioned Mario
That's what
Kart
he's getting
as
at. That's
the big
smart.
one that you just tend to pay crazy for.
Yeah.
It's for the
I
customer.
will pay $25 on a copy of Mario Kart. I have no qualms doing that.
Even though you're selling it for what, 30, 35?
30, 35. Usually 35. Because it's a very, very fast mover. So yeah, is it like a $29 to $32 game? Sure. But my margin doesn't need to be huge on it because once I sell it, I'll have 10 people come in and say like, oh, I've got Mario Kart Wii's.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, all those Mario Kart Wii's hit the shelf and they all sell.
Well, and you could totally get away with paying 10, 15,
Oh,
20
yeah.
for Mario Kart.
Easy.
Nobody would complain.
No.
That's what everyone does.
Absolutely.
It reminds me a lot of a principle that they use in retail a lot called loss
When your
leaders,
dollar or two
right?
short,
They'll put
he
one
might let you
product
get it.
on
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Right? Like, the customer's right. It kind of reminds me of homie from The Upper Hand, right? He gives away Pokemon packs to kids all the time, or he'll like knock off a couple dollars or give people little deals while he's there at the shop. And it's friggin' cool, man. It is cool. It takes a certain kind of person to do that kind of thing. You know what I mean? That's pretty cool, though. Streaming so soon, no problem. Yeah, no,
right,
man,
people
we're
buy
doing
all
a
the time,
React
right?
stream. So, like, the brutal reality of owning a video game store, right? It's done by homie over here, Phoenix Resale, who also does reselling stuff. He's on YouTube. Check out his page. All shout out to him. This is all his. You know what I'm saying? We're just reacting to it. Don't forget, give him a like, subscribe, all that, whatever. Like it, subscribe it. And we're going to get back into this. This dude is like mad smart with the way how he's been conducting his business straight from the gate. Like picking up business tips right here. It turned into a learning lesson real quick. Like, man, that's hella smart. Hella smart.
Diapers, toilet paper, and say, advertise in all the catalogs, all the commercials. We've got this for $5 and it's normally 15, and they'll actually lose money on that product because they know when people come in the store, they're not just going to get the toilet paper.
No, there's
They're gonna
other
get a
items
cartful
that
of
are
other
priced
stuff.
a little bit
Exactly.
higher,
Those other items is
right?
more than make up for it.
Get them in the door.
So that they can see what it is that you have.
It's long term. It's not make one dime on every little deal. It's not make $5 here. Oh, I'm gonna hold on to this until I sell it for $20 more. It's do right by people. Pay your partners, get people in the door, make them feel welcome, make them feel good, exactly like you're doing.
It's very,
Yeah,
very important
that's
to
crazy.
make sure that the customer is happy. I cannot emphasize this enough.
Yeah.
So to all your
Rocking the
commenters
Rayquaza.
and readers and watchers, that is where the industry is lacking, and don't ever stop pushing for you deserving better.
So Mark, another thing that we share in common is we're both optimizers.
Mm-hmm.
We love taking our business to the next level.
Definitely.
What are some ways that you plan on doing that with this business for the next year?
We're going to get more heavy into marketing.
So, back to like seeing whether or not, like hoping if he expands. He's about to delve into this right now, which is pretty smart. Like, what's the projection for the next year? That's a good question too. Great question.
We're going to put more effort into getting ourselves out there, whether or not it be through Facebook Marketplace, through
Marketplace,
Google Analytics.
Called
We're going to try to
Analytics, called
become a more popular store in the area. We're focusing on trade nights too. We're
Smart.
doing video game trade nights and Pokemon card trade nights.
Oh, that's cool.
So we're inviting local resellers to come in.
So that's kind of like how he started with the flea market. He's kind of trying to bring that experience back, which is kind of cool, right?
In here, you can buy from each other. You can sell to each other. You don't have to sell to me. I'm not going to get mad if you're like, oh, you're selling that game that I have in store. No, we want to build a community around it. I offer increased trade credit those nights. So those people that bring in
That's
those
smart.
games that don't sell at the end of the night, they're just like,
Wow.
here you go.
That's very countercultural on its own.
Yeah.
Inviting in your competition to your space
Oh,
to
yeah.
make money in the place that you're
Oh,
paying
yeah.
rent.
Definitely.
That's crazy.
We do that specifically because we want to cultivate a community.
See, look, I
We
would
wanna
do shit
build
like
something
that.
around
It's
the
so
store.
smart.
And in those moments, those people come back and they scan everything in store because now they're trying to make money. But we're building those people. We're bringing them through the door. We're saying, hey, our prices are great. Our trade-in
And
is
then
great. Come in.
Not only that, but they're getting mad free advertising for anybody who goes into the store, being like, yo, can I take a picture of that? And then they post it, whether it be on their Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, wherever it is that they're posting it, right? Now, and like anybody that's in the area that follows that person is like, oh shit, let's go check this out. It's fucking nuts. It's smart.
Hang out with this guy. Buy games off of him. Sell games to him. I don't care. I think it's very important to build something around your store that's going to make people go, oh, I need to be there. I need to be there that Friday night because there's free pizza.
Yeah.
Like, I need to be there so I can see everything that everyone is bringing. And we've had some pretty good success with it. We've had nights where like 20, 30 people showed up and they set up little tables and they just did like a little trade event. And it was really cool.
I love how reckless that business model seems on the surface. Does your store see an increase at all in sales in those days? Is it
Oh, yeah.
net negative?
Yeah, it
That
does.
was
It's
awesome.
being
Like,
held
I'll
there,
do
right?
the trade night starting at like 5 o'clock. People will be showing up at 3, setting up, and they'll wander around the store for 2 hours. And they'll buy things, and they'll look at my $5 wall and scan every game to see the $7 or $8 games. Buy 4, get 2 free, so hey, we're making $15. They'll come in early, and they'll just love it. And they'll trade in all their stuff that they want to get rid of
Buy
early.
4, get 2 free.
And parlay that into stuff that they think they can sell at night.
That's smart,
And
man.
it's great for me because I'm getting in a ton of inventory.
So, like, think about this, man. You go and you get a system. You buy 4, and then you get 2 free. And then I wonder if it's, like, any 2 free, or if it's, like, at cost of 2 free. Games does he have here? Holy Pac-Man. NFL games, Cruising USA, that was a big game back in the day. Mission Impossible, I played this. That was a really hard game. Turok, big game, big game. We got Resident Evil 2, snowboarding games. You got another NBA game down over there, 180 snowboarding game. It's a couple dope hits. What is that? What is that? Battle Fame? Battle Team or some shit?
Some of it not good, some of it really good.
Nice.
But Reckless
Some of it
was
not
how
good,
we
some
were
of it
looked at
really
at
good.
first,
Flash
and
us
then
over to
it was more
Pokemon
mad
real quick.
scientist.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Like you're doing something that nobody else is doing, but it's working.
That's so cool, man. I love to hear about stuff like that.
I've purchased this store for 400 more square feet for a reason.
He's
because I
growing
want to
an
build
extra
with
400
as much
square
possible.
feet.
Totally.
So I think those are the three big goals: are marketing, creating a bigger and better community, and really stocking the shelves.
Love the game plan, man. That's inspiring.
Gotta have one.
Mark, we've talked a lot about tactics, individual strategies, but let's get real for a second.
Yep.
Talk to me about, like, what is necessary? What do you have to sacrifice to own a business like this? Because it looks great, you know, when you're in the store and it's well stocked and people are coming in and customers are happy, but,
Yep.
like, what's required?
Time.
Time,
So much
attention
time.
to detail.
I work 70-hour work weeks. I never stop. I'm 7 days a week.
Yep.
I sometimes get a day off. I was telling you earlier, I've had Christmas off, and that's my only day off in almost 2 months. I had Thanksgiving off. I get major holidays off. That's really about it. I have some people that come in and they'll work a day for me sometimes, but that is very few and far between.
So you don't really have a ton of employees. It's like, it's you in here.
And that's where a lot of stores don't understand the sacrifices you make. I have a 1-year-old and a 6-year-old. I don't think I'm going to see my daughter walk for the first time.
Yo, what's up?
I don't believe I will. I'll see it on camera, but I won't see it in person.
Wow.
Because you have
What
to
is
be here
happening?
so much. You have early days and you have late nights. If somebody calls you on your day off and says, I have to sell this collection today, I need money, I don't care if I'm off. I'll be right at the store.
Wow.
It never stops. Days off,
So that's kind of like a collector's mentality too, right? That he's like honing in on there. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I got to get rid of this right now. You know, like it's that time where they look at the market price and then they're able to like negotiate a little bit more. Where he could just come through and be like, well, like I got to undercut you a little bit, kind of thing, because he's already built up that rapport with the community and stuff for doing big trades. I can assume, due to like the way how he's discussing about it. That's pretty crazy, man. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, man. I'd be like, sure, I'm there.
for me, are maybe sleeping
Cop
until
that
11.
real quick.
And then I go right to work on the computer. I start getting into Facebook groups. I start doing marketing for the store. There is no stopping. It is nonstop. I've missed plays for my 6-year-old. Date nights for me and my wife are few and far between. And it might sound like I'm negligent, but I'm not. I'm trying to provide and secure a future for my family. And that is very important to me. The end game is retire by 50.
Wow.
And he could probably do
That
it.
is very important to me, that I can spend that time with my family after that. But right now, and just being honest with you guys, it hurts.
If you don't mind me asking, like, how is your family responding?
My wife is very supportive. We've been together since we were 14, so about
Crazy.
3 years now. She was my
Crazy.
middle school sweetheart.
Oh my gosh.
So we're very, very lucky to be as in love as we are, and to have her be as understanding as she is. My kids, you know, my 1-year-old, she doesn't really know. When she sees Daddy, she claps. She's excited. My 6-year-old, you can tell, is a little bit more affected by it. He, you know, when I get home and he goes to bed, Daddy, will you sleep with me? You know, he wants that little bit of extra time with me. But my wife is very supportive, so I'm very blessed in that regard. But there are nights, you know, like when it was her birthday, I had to work on her birthday. I had a convention on her birthday. So when I got home, I was exhausted. We didn't even really get to hang out. I had to go to bed. You know, I got her a card, told her I loved her, and we're planning a date night really.
So like this is the harsh reality, right? Is like you're sacrificing your family to do something that you're passionate about. But it's cool that he has a good support system with his wife and stuff, is what it seems like. And then as his kids get older, they'll understand a little bit more of what's going on, especially if they end up getting into the business with him, where he end up spending all the time with the kids and then teaching them everything that he knows, which is pretty cool. And then he'd be able to leave it to his kid, retire at 50, knowing that the shop's in good hands and whatever, and it could continue on from there. That's smart, man. Generational wealth right there. It's a generational business that he just built. That's huge. Crazy marketing, everything like that. That's smart as fuck.
Soon for that.
That's
But
crazy.
if you're not sacrificing,
Very
you're not
intellectual
doing
mammy
it
jammer
all the
right
way,
here.
and it has to be done all the way.
That's real. Thank you for sharing that, man. I think that's a place that a lot of people aren't necessarily willing to go. And I have found with the business owners I've talked to, supportive spouses are a huge common denominator. So
They are
huge.
guys like you and I, we're really lucky. Anything else, like outside of the family, the time, does anything else come to mind for you when you think about sacrifices?
Money, you have to put the business first.
Yeah.
When I first opened, I didn't pay myself for the first 4 months. I had no money.
That's how it goes.
Wow.
We were living off my wife's paychecks because you have to
Dedication.
buy, you have to pay all your bills on time.
Yeah.
You have to pay your taxes. Everything
Taxes.
amounts to a ton of money. So for those first 4 months, I had nothing. It was peanut butter jelly and ramen, because to start with that,
So like, yo, I'm gonna say this right now, off rip. To pay the taxes and everything, get all that out the way, how he did. It took him 4 months to do it. That's a grind. That's a grind and a half. But he got all his ducks in a row, lined it up within that first 4 months, and then after that, it's like smooth sailing. Not only that, but if he were to get like heavily into the TCG trading kind of thing, it's not really tax deductible or anything due to it being like art. You know what I mean?
that type of bankroll, but to know that it's all going to be gone before you even get a chance to spend it.
Price is subjective.
It's really, really tough. You have to be very, very mentally strong to know that your money situation is going to suck for a while. It's not going to be good. And you started with $500. You probably spent 400 of those dollars and then sat there one day on your couch and went, I only have $100 left. Like, what am I going to do?
74 was the lowest my bank account ever got. I was
Exactly.
like, all right, it's a Saturday. I have $74 to spend at this yard sale, and then I just have to sell something.
Yeah.
Else I can't go next weekend.
Exactly. And that's where I got, where I was so low in my bank account, I cried, man. Like, I genuinely just sat on my bed and I cried.
It's a harsh
I
truth,
didn't know where the
man.
next meal was going to come
It's a
from. I
harsh
didn't know
truth.
where the next tank of gas was going to come from. And when the money started finally rolling in, we started doing really big sales. We started really hitting. It was the biggest relief you could possibly imagine. So, in terms of sacrifice, be ready to be afraid all the time when you first start.
Dude, one thing that I think about a lot is like our business has been doing really well recently with our like buy list program, and Amazon's going good. It's Q4 as we're filming this.
Yeah.
The weird thing is like the better the business does, my anxiousness about
Your
it,
anxiety.
my fear, it doesn't go down.
No,
It's
it goes
like
up.
You're more aware that like on this roller coaster ride of business, it's gonna go down, and the higher you are, the more that's gonna hurt.
Success must be maintained
It's a fact.
in order to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, to not feel like everything is going to collapse all at once. So you have to make sure that everything that you're doing is to sustain the business and then grow the business. Worry about sustaining, then worry about growth. Then worry about sustaining, then worry about growing.
Increments. Smart.
Wow.
Smart.
Yeah, I often wonder, like, when am I not gonna be scared anymore?
Never.
If I,
Because people sometimes intend to like just straight try and grow their business, and they go too soon, too fast, and then they hit a wall, or they don't have the same kind of influx that they were expecting to have, right? And it happens, man. That's what he was saying earlier, how he knows how people have been there for like 2-3 years and then like hit a wall. That's crazy.
5 years in so far, it
How
hasn't
he
happened.
started too was crazy. Like Facebook Marketplace, eBay, and then it just got too big doing a flea market, yard sales and stuff like that, and then it just got a little bit bigger than that. It's like, bro, he literally grew from that's the American dream right there.
I hope one day it does for you. We'll
The
see.
Bezos
It probably won't. And
from the
I think
garage
that
up.
keeps us on our toes, to be honest. I think that's what separates us from, weekend resellers, is that fear is always going to be there. That fear of failure, that fear of, sometimes that fear of success. That once you get to a certain level, people's expectations of you continue to rise. And when you don't meet those expectations, they start to turn on you. So it comes down to an immense amount of fear, an immense amount of desire, and an immense amount of just being willing to sacrifice in order to be successful.
Wow. That's that real stuff, man. I appreciate you going there. Looks like we missed your first customer of the day. I'm sorry about
I
that.
think he came in because he thought we were a karate studio still.
We need to get a shot of that sign. I love that. Cool. Well, I want to buy some of these things from you. I have a few last tactical questions for you so we can lighten it up a little bit.
Sounds good.
All right, folks, we've got
That
our
was crazy.
handheld
That
stack
was
here.
nuts.
I'm going to start going through these and just kind of inspecting and testing as I'm talking about this next one. Resellers, if you're watching, this is another point to get your notebook and pen out, because when I asked you advice that you have for other business owners, one of the things you said was source bravely.
Yeah.
Source bravely. Can you explain that? What does that mean?
Sourcing bravely means doing things other than going to garage sales, estate sales, flea markets. It means, like you said before, opportunity is everywhere. I found my niche on Twitter. I mean, it's somewhere that nobody else was exploring. And that's not to say that there aren't other spaces out there that people could look. Buying off other
Then
resellers
build bridges
is just
along
an
the way. Yo,
absolutely
facts.
fantastic
Big
resource.
facts.
It's a way to get out there and make contacts, make friends, make people in the industry or your local community want to work with you.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to contact these people or to reach out to these people. If you see somebody posting on Facebook, hey, I'm buying video games, reach out to them and say, like, hey, I'm also buying video games.
Yeah.
Let's network a little bit. Like, let's work together. Is there anything that you are looking for specifically? Hey, I'm looking for Nintendo handhelds, but you're looking for Super Nintendo. If I find Super Nintendo, let me send to you. You send me the handhelds. Like, let's start working together.
That's smart.
Especially
That's
if you're
smart.
the
Building the
kind of person
community too, right?
is
And then you're
feeling
building trust amongst
disheartened with
everybody
how much
within that
competition
community.
there is, and I
Super
can never
smart.
find
That's the
stuff at
bridges right
thrift,
there that you're
or
talking about.
By the time I go to yard sales, people are already walking out with boxes of
Yeah.
stuff. Maybe try to not
Power
scare those
Rangers.
people and instead go shake their hand.
This is how things start to spiral, not in a bad way, but they snowball into a really big thing that people can start stores based off of. You might meet a partner when you're doing this. Let's go out there and let's make these connections. Let's be friends with our fellow resellers. Let's not view them as competition. Let's go out of our way to, like you said, buy them lunch. Work with them on what you need and what they need. And you might make a best friend that you can start a business with.
I have to just jump in and reiterate how right on this is. This exact words they just said here. In the
Shout out to their
conversation,
editor.
because I myself was always at swap meets. I still am with my friends, and I would see certain competition. There was certain competition within the group that I'd start talking to them.
Don't be afraid of
see the
contacting
out
people.
there, and start to
Facts.
become friends with them.
Big
And
facts.
Just like they said,
What's going on,
those
homie?
people ended up being Chris, who is now on our podcast, and also now, yes, an actual partner in owning the SoCal Gaming Expo. So yeah, any of this stuff can be completely put into your work practice. These guys are right
Yeah,
on.
what's going on, Jose?
So it's definitely, sourcing bravely just means going out of your comfort zone. You're not alone. You don't need to be a lone wolf.
That's so nuts. And like the way how he was discussing about building the community before, like at the very beginning there, how he has them come to his shop and he does like a trade weekend. He probably does it like twice a month. And then like helping each other, networking and stuff like that. That's so crazy. It's so smart. This guy's business model is nuts. And no, it's funny. It kind of reflects a restaurant's business model. How it's back to the referral. You know what I mean?
Love that. Tell me this, for people who are watching and are thinking about maybe dipping their toes into this business on the retail side, is this a business that you honestly recommend in 2020?
Meanwhile, me being the
Nope.
clumsiest person alive.
Like I was saying, you have to dedicate massive amounts of
It
time
happens.
to it. And you need the wherewithal to
What's up,
have
buddy?
that dedication.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people are built for this. Not a lot of people are very friendly or personable. They might be incredible on the analytical side of things. They might be great at sourcing. They might be great at buying. They might be great at selling on eBay or Amazon. But at the end of the day, they might not be very good when it comes to that customer service.
So talk to me about, like, with video
Customer
games in
service is a
general,
huge
maybe
thing.
not necessarily on the store side. A lot of people would say, hey, physical media is dying. Like, don't get into this business. It's not worth it. You're going to be out of business in 10 years. Would you agree with that?
No. Physical media is going to be around a lot longer, especially with certain companies saying that they're going strictly to digital. People want to hold games. They want to put cartridges in. They want to put discs in. They want to make sure
Or just
that they're
to
reliving
own the
that experience
physical
that they had
copy.
when they were younger.
Here, give
So
me
if they're
one
not
sec.
going in there,
Give me 1 sec. Want down, buddy? Yeah. Just waking up from your nap, huh? Yeah. He's just waking up. Want some food.
and enjoying the game, if they're not displaying it, or they're not putting it on a shelf, or they're not putting it on a rack, they're going to be a little bit more disappointed. It's more like playing a movie than playing a game at that point.
Yeah.
So I think that the death of physical media is heavily, heavily, heavily overstated. I think that you're going to see more physical media get sold. As soon as those companies go to digital only, you're going to see a outburst, a huge upswelling of physical media.
Wow. Do you think there will be long-term implications, like the kids who are growing up today with primarily digital and downloads and getting games on Amazon? Like, will we eventually see a decline?
I think that those kids are a lot more savvy than we give them credit for. I believe that they want those old games. I have a lot of 16, 17, 12-year-olds coming in here. I want Super Nintendo games. I want 64 games. My dad told me that GoldenEye was the best shooter of all time. I got to play that, and I got to buy a 64
He
to
was
do that.
wrong, first of all.
They want those things that their parents grew up on. It's
Yeah.
like, you know how kids get into rock music. Their parents got them into Leonard Skinner and Kansas and those bands. Now all of a sudden, they love Leonard Skinner and Kansas. It's the same thing with video games. Their parents are going to get them into 64 games. They're going to break out that box of old Super Nintendo, and that kid's going to fall in love with the sprites and the music, and they're going to want that for themselves too.
Yo, such a
I think that
nostalgic
it's nothing
time.
to be afraid of. I think that it might be a little bit, it might be just a little bit of fear of the unknown, but that unknown to people that aren't afraid of that future, it's very bright for us.
One thing that I always say is,
So it's like kind of hone that fear into looking towards the future, right? Like hoping for the best, expecting the worst. But like everything pans out because you've been expecting. That's smart, man. This guy's smart, bro. This guy's mad smart.
it's like, I'm not in the speculation business. I'm in the adaptation business.
Exactly.
Right?
Nice.
Our jobs are not to predict what's going to happen, and so as long as the market's currently good, I pretty much recommend it to people.
Yeah.
Everyone eats, and I've never really.
Yo, that's another thing too. He's just breaking bread with everybody. You know, everybody eats. That's like, yo, there's so many movies. You know, everybody eats until that one time, right? But like, that's super smart.
Benefited from trying to predict what's going to happen 5-10 years down the line.
Yeah, I mean, adaptation is like is easily the most important thing. Like I was mentioning earlier, I didn't have any type of love for Pokemon, but it started to show me
$45.
that it was very, very profitable. I adapted into Pokemon. Same with other hobbies and other things that we offer. Lorcana is starting to get big.
Yeah,
We
Lorcana
start
got
offering Lorcana
huge.
now. We're adapting to what the market is dictating.
The booster box of Lorcana is like $450, something like that. Is nuts, man. I like when it first dropped, so many people grabbed that shit.
And I think that that is a very, very powerful trait to have, that you can easily segue into what is now considered popular and aggressively go after it. But that's another reason that it's really hard to start this business in 2024. You have to be aggressive. You have to be able to adapt very quickly. And if you're not, you're going to get left behind, and you're going to be one of those stores that closes in a year.
Absolutely. So you talked about earlier retirement at 50 is a big goal for you. Beyond that, like, what's your end game with all this?
Basically, I want to spend the next 13 years giving people the best experience they can get. I want to, which is aging me, by the way, I'm 36. Oh, something that means a lot to me is putting it out there for people to have the best time they possibly can. The end goal after that is to literally sell this business, live off some of the money, and invest the rest.
Yeah, that's smart.
I just want to create a comfortable life for my children, my wife, and I want to live my life.
So, yo, I knew this guy. This is back in the day, back when I used to do the Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments when it first came out and stuff. He owned a comic book store and like went into Warcraft, went into Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, all that shit, right? Magic the Gathering, huge. And he just kept trading up. I think it was about 2.5, maybe 3 years ago. He sold the business to a bigger business, a conglomerate, right? He was able to sell that off, but he still kind of has a portion where he has a bunch of like stuff that he still has to offload. So he's still making some money from that, and it was like the best investment he had, but it took him over 20 years to do it. But like it was hella smart, and this guy is only in his 30s. He's about to work his way up, so he wants to retire by 50. Yeah, he's going to put in about 20-25 years still.
I feel like working 70 hours a week since I was in my 20s, I've earned it.
Folks, if you are in the Fort Myers area, definitely check out Dynamo Collectibles. And if you want to see a video of a $5 million Pokemon card business owner who operates in his basement, I will link it right down here.
That is nuts.
We will catch you guys
That is nuts.
On the flip.
That is nuts. Alright, yo. Friggin', that was cool, man. That was cool. Hold on. We're gonna pause this. Hit this real quick. Go check him out. Check his page out. Phoenix Resale. And like, yo, we might react to a couple more of these. This was actually pretty cool. And like, that's very informative about business and stuff. The way how he was holding it down, conducting his business, so on and so forth. How he got into it. And like, yeah, no, man, that was cool. I hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to leave a like, subscribe, all that good shit.